make a very speculative open here with a 10-8 suited bottom right. But I have two just like really core players, and I know that usually I tell you guys, hey, don't play hands that have low pair value against weak players. So I mean, I probably would have told most of you guys to fold here if you thought, and usually I will fold. Not a ton to say about that spot. I was thinking about raising because I didn't think I really had much, but at the same time, I mean, I'm gonna be able to find a little bit better spot against this guy. And then I also looked at the thing that showed his pre-flop stats, and it showed that he was calling out of blinds with small pairs. So I figured he could have like pocket sixes or something like that here, and then he wouldn't fold them. So ace king top left, I raise pre-flop and get called by king queen. He's playing ridiculously wide, too many hands. And I just think that hand is best on the flop like so often, and I don't think he's really calling too frequently with worse, except for specifically like worse ace X's. And if he does have a worse ace X, what's going to happen after I check behind the flop? He's going to check the turn and probably call that. And then for all the times that he has unpaired hands, which is the vast majority of the time, like 80% probably, I think I can induce him to bluff me on the turn sometimes. So my plan was to check back the flop and then call turns, and then make a decision on the river based on the run out. However, that didn't happen. So now in this spot on the turn, we have a very similar spot to where I had the 6-5, where like my hand is almost always for sure best, but I don't want to check and let him just like realize equity. So what I'm going to do is make like a half pot bet or whatever in order to charge him the times that he does want to draw with whatever random cards he might have, and to just protect my equity. Protect my equity in the pot, yeah. So I was just going through and looking at what, let me see, let me pause it real quick here and let's just take a look at what his range shows from this, from what PT4 is telling me. 3 bets ace king, I mean, it's kind of standard. 4 bet ace jack suited, so I mean, clearly he's probably thinking, he probably has an idea as to using hands that have blockers, good blockers for 4 betting. So called 2 bet from the blinds with 4s and ace jack offsuit. I mean, it's probably reasonable as long as it was a min raise. We don't know that. 4s is usually a fold to a 3x unless it's multi-way, but we don't know. Tempted to steal, then 4 bet with ace jack suited. Okay, so that tells us that when he did 4 bet ace jack, that it was in a steal spot, so it was either like button versus small blind, button versus big blind, or cutoff versus one of those. Call 3 bet in position with ace 4 suited, a little loose, but I mean, okay. Call 3 bet out of position with 7s, not going to generally be a good call. King 10 suited and king jack suited. King 10 suited is pretty questionable 3 bet call, but I mean, I don't know what the situation was. Almost probably 85% of situations, this is not going to be a good call, maybe even higher. 3 bet blind versus steals, ace king suited standard. Play turn to draw aggressively twice. So I mean, that's like, there's nothing here that looks that bad. I mean, it looks like overall it's fairly balanced and playing reasonably well. It looks like now I've clicked on the flop button and noting that he checked top pair 2-3 through a pot. And he put in there though that there's a donk in the pot, because that's very important. That's like the most important piece of information right there in that situation.